You've been speaking wrong for years. And the worst part, it's costing you opportunities, respect, and relationships, and you don't even realize it. Think about it. Those meetings where nobody listens, those arguments you always seem to lose, that moment when you regret saying too much or too little. This isn't about being stupid. It's about not understanding the psychology behind communication. And here's the crazy part. Philosophers over 2,000 years ago already figured out how to dominate conversations without raising your voice, how to have your ideas respected without fighting for attention, and how to speak less, but be heard more. If you want more videos like this, hit the like button now, because what I'm about to show you will completely change how people perceive you when you speak. Think about this. How many times this week have your words just disappeared into thin air? You say something, people nod politely, and 10 seconds later, someone else repeats your exact idea. And everyone thinks it's brilliant, or worse, a family argument. Your heart races, you know you're right, but somehow you lose. Not because your argument was weak, but because you over-explained, justified yourself, or sounded desperate. Here's the harsh truth. When you lose credibility, it doesn't matter how good your ideas are. You could send a long, detailed message explaining your decision, 3 paragraphs with every context, and the reader thinks, why is he justifying so much? He must be wrong. Or in a job interview, you speak for 5 minutes, listing everything you've done. By the time you finish, the interviewer stopped listening 3 minutes in. The reason? No one teaches us the real secret of communication, and it's slowly destroying your influence every day. The myth about communication. We've been told communication is about speaking, having the right words, being eloquent, persuasive. That's a lie. Intelligent communication isn't about what you say. It's about what you don't say. It's about timing, control, and understanding the psychology of your listener. The Stoics mastered this like no one else. Let me share something that changed my communication forever. I used to be that guy who talked too much. Work meetings. I had to give my opinion on everything. Arguments? I had to have the last word. WhatsApp messages. Paragraphs on paragraphs explaining myself. Yes, what happened? People avoided me. They didn't take me seriously. And when I actually had something important to say, no one paid attention. Remember a particular disaster, a presentation for the board, weeks of preparation, solid data, charts, arguments. I walked in confident and talked for 40 minutes. I answered questions no one asked, explained details no one needed, justified decisions no one questioned. Silence. One director checked the clock. Another scrolled on their phone. The CEO said, "Thank you, we'll review this." Project denied. Well, weeks later, a colleague presented a similar idea. 5 minutes, 3 slides, 2 sentences. Approved instantly. That's when I realized it wasn't my content. It was how I communicated. Lesson 1. Strategic silence burr. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Sounds simple, right? But when you truly understand it, it changes everything. Think of every word you say as an investment of attention. Attention is a finite resource. Each word you speak is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Words that are unnecessary, defensive, or just filler. They drain your influence. Most people are overdrawn in this attention bank. They talk to be seen, to show they exist, and when they truly need someone's focus, the account is empty. People who have real influence speak less, but every word lands. Think of leaders, teachers, and influencers you admire. They didn't talk more. They talked better. Steve Jobs, presentations that changed industries, not hours of rambling. Warren Buffett, short, Powerful letters, not 100-page reports. Nelson Mandela, selective words that made the world stop. Why silence works. Silence is power, but strategic silence. 3 psychological reasons it works. Our brains fill gaps. Silence creates tension. People start questioning themselves. The first to speak often concedes. Silence pressures the other person to offer more. Silence demonstrates control. It shows confidence, emotional mastery, and generates respect. Example, negotiating your salary. You state your number, then stay quiet. Most people panic and justify, lowering their position. The one who controls silence wins. Lesson 2, the Epictetus filter. When should you speak? Ask 3 questions. Is it true? Facts, not interpretations. Is it necessary? Will it make a difference? Is it kind? Truth is not an excuse for cruelty. If it fails any filter, don't speak. Preserve your attention, energy, and influence. Lesson 3. Socratic reframing. Socrates never said you're wrong. He asked questions. What makes you think that? How could this work differently? Questions activate curiosity and collaboration. Statements trigger ego and resistance. Example, a colleague proposes a risky approach. Instead of saying that won't work, you ask, interesting, how would you handle this specific challenge? They analyze, self-correct, and you guide without conflict. Lesson 4, body language and presence. Your body often speaks louder than your words. Posture, straight, relaxed, shoulders back, eye contact, 3 seconds before speaking. Gestures, intentional, minimal. Voice, slow, clear, diaphragmatic. Practice breathing, inhale 5 seconds, hold 2, exhale 7. Repeat 3 times before speaking. It activates calm, reduces nervousness, and exudes authority. Daily practice 7-day challenge. Day 1 to 2. Practice 5-second pauses before responding. Day 3 to 4. Apply Epictetus filter, truth, necessity, kindness. Day 5 to 6. Convert statements into questions. Notice changes in dialogue. Day 7. Combine silence, filter, Socratic questioning, and physical presence. Record yourself, review, and notice the transformation. 2 weeks in, people seek my advice. Meetings that took hours now resolve in minutes. Relationships improve. Conflicts resolve calmly. I speak less, but everything I say carries weight. This isn't about manipulation. It's about respect for communication, for others' time, and for the power of your words. When you master this, you control your reality, opportunities, relationships, and influence. So start today. Pick one technique, practice it in your next conversation. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Remember, you can't control if people listen, but you can control if you deserve to be heard. Silence, filter, questions, presence. 2,000 years of wisdom, 7 days of practice. That's all it takes.